We know what we're looking for in a winner, and each task helps us to get closer to that point. You're dismissed.
I didn't come to play around, I came to win. This competition means stepping out of my comfort zone.
What I've learned from the activities, and then I'll put that together, come up with a strategy and take it one day at a time.
I don't want to go in and say, this is my strategy and this is exactly how I'm going to win. I think that needs to go through a process of being adapted.
Strategic alliances is quite important, and being prepared, always being prepared for every task that you go to.
I have a deep desire to be the best. I think that's what drives me. If you don't compete, how do you know that you're the best?
The Insurance Apprentice is the perfect platform for me to display the skills and the techniques that I've learned within the insurance industry and to share that with the rest of South Africa.
If I forget that they're good and they made it here this far because they were good, then I would lose the competition.
Being able to, answer questions, handle tasks well, and just engage with the team members.
You've all done well to come this far. Welcome to Season 4 of The Insurance Apprentice. The show helps us to showcase what the industry is all about, and that's what we try and achieve in each task.
It's quite important that the Insurance Apprentice shows that they can actually be quite resilient and flexible and be able to change strategy as and when it's required.
Look around you. With each passing day, there could be an empty space. Make sure that you're not in it. I'd like to welcome my judge who's been with me since the beginning, Vuyo Lee.
It really is the last leg of the race, but a very challenging race. My advice to you is to really understand the questions and the tasks and focus on understanding the brief and answering that brief specifically.
I'd like to welcome Terence Williams. He's the CEO of Aon. We're doing things a little bit differently this year. You'll be going straight into the first task. Terence, would you take them through it?
Absolutely, thank you, Simon. So the first session or the first task for you today will be around negotiation skills, the true role of a broker, the true role of an intermediary. Broking is a changing landscape all over the world. We talk about technology, we talk about demographics, we talk about the environment. There are so many things that drive behavior in our industry, not more so than in South Africa. Changes in regulation, politics, economics. Every one of those makes the role of the broker critical. It also makes it incredibly challenging. Your role today is going to be about that negotiation, about that advice, about that interaction, about that relationship. So I'm going to give you each a piece of paper which you'll take away with you. Simon will gladly explain how this all works for you, and then I look forward to spending some time with you after that.
Thanks, Terence. So as Terence said, your task is, today you're playing the role of a broker. Not an easy role to play. You've got some challenges in that you're going to have to negotiate for an increase in your fees, and there may be some additional covers that need to be sold to the client. So please apply all of your acumen to put the best deal together, not just for your client, but for your broking firm. You'll also have the opportunity to ask some additional questions. These will be done on an individual basis. You're not playing in teams, you're playing for yourselves today. So you'll go out of this room and you'll come back in an hour's time. If you wish to ask questions, please do so before that hour is up. After the hour, you'll be expected to do a 5-minute presentation, upon which we as the judges will be asking you some questions. Hopefully you'll have the answers to those. There is one other thing about today's task. Nobody's going to get fired. Someone is, however, going to walk away 10,000 Rand richer. That is all. You're dismissed.
the details on how many trucks they have?
They're on the paper, you'll notice. 11 trucks and 7 buckies.
Your excess
Yes,
on the fleet, what is the current
very
excess?
minimal. It's about 1,000 rand.
1,000 Rand.
Are we required to do any loss ratio calculations?
You've got to sell the increase, you tell me.
We have to negotiate an increase of 10%. Is it on premium or on commission?
On the overall program. He had it. It's very close to getting it right. He should have asked for the premium though, because how's he going to calculate the loss ratio now?
Yes.
Yeah, he's only got one piece of the puzzle.
He does. If he had got that piece, he would have been on to a winner to get the increase.
The claims experience, there wasn't much information given on the losses that the client had experienced. So I just wanted to find out the details of the claim.
And then the workshop that we've got listed, is that part of the buildings? Or was that the contents of the workshop?
It's part of the buildings and we do have some contents in it, yes.
The liability limit of 1 million, is that our primary layer?
It is, yes, because you've got a 10 million excess here.
Okay. And that 10 million, is that top-up liability or is it excess of loss?
Excess of loss.
Okay.
You're back.
Yes.
You should try and formulate all of your questions at once rather than bugging your client multiple times. Just a tip.
I just want to know, are we supposed to discuss the whole renewal or are we only focusing on the 2 points given?
Interesting question. So you have 5 minutes. The intention is to try and cover off as much of that as you can in the 5 minutes. So take it as a collective. It's an overall renewal. It's all the lines of business. I think you need to make the assumption as part of this that you've done a lot of the demands and needs work. So what you're coming to do is present the overall findings. She's put 2 and 2 together though, because 5 minutes is not a long time to work through all this detail.
It'll be interesting to see if anyone tries to do that.
I think they might.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if, as the client's broker, if I see the client needs more than one product, am I restricted to offering just one?
No.
Okay. That's all.
That kind of felt like he needed to ask a question. Really.
I just had a meeting with Holiday Insurance, who wanted to cancel your policy due to the claims experience and frequency. We've managed to get Holiday to only give you a 10% increase. If you add goods and transit cover, it will be good for you.
But a lot of the time, our customers take out that insurance themselves.
But when the goods are in your custody, you are responsible for that.
Don't we contract out of liability though?
That's what I thought we were doing.
It will make people want to work with you.
As you said, the insurer wanted to cancel my cover, but my claims are going down. Looks like our claims are going up.
Where you average 2 claims a year, in 2017 there was only 1.
I can actually see 3.
The windscreen claims are not counted as claims.
We'd like to try and see some savings in our premiums. So do we have any alternative?
So what are you actually going to do?
I'm going to find the client an alternative insurer.
Do you think they can do it cheaper?
It's not something to be looked upon as bad because you are getting priced according to the risk that the survey will be.
Your time is up. Are you concluding with marks?
I felt confused by his assessment of the claims experience.
He was on the right track when he started the conversation around the motor and he deviated into something that was unrelated.
If he'd gone with telematics or something...
The easy answer would have been yes, increase your excess.
He talks about an insurer wanting to cancel your business.
It's quite a way to start the conversation.
There's a gap in cover, which can potentially cause high potential losses.
Okay, yes. What is the gap?
I see here that you don't have cover for goods and transit.
And we ask those clients to effectively insure those goods on their own behalf. Are you saying we should take on that responsibility?
In case you get sued?
As far as I know, that's a different kind of insurance.
Yes, but then it will assist in the increase and growth of business.
Okay.
We can now get all types of clients, whether they have cover for themselves
Is it an expensive cover?
The insured has advised us that they would like a 10% increase.
If they haven't increased it for 3 years, why suddenly they're asking for an increase?
It's way above inflation. I mean,
Yeah. Look at the claims history. We have incurred more than close to 700,000 in losses. There was no increase for those.
But is there any other way we can get that premium to either come down or stay the same?
I highly doubt it.
What is the total insurance actually?
316,000. The sum insured is for 5 million.
So we can carry any consignment to the value of 5 million?
316,000 sounds a lot.
That's including the
new cover.
The new
The
cover.
cover.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any concluding remarks?
Take the new cover and accept the 10% increase in premium, because I believe that we've had a good relationship with the insured.
It was a bit more coherent.
Was well put, relationship, take the increase. He was quite brazen and quite bold about that, which you have to be.
We're looking at a loss ratio of 107%. A loss ratio is favorably at 62%. So I've approached 2 other insurers, all right? And however, you know what, we know this insurance company and they have been good in terms of the claims payments and the claims process. So we would recommend that you stay with them with that 10% increase.
So is there any way I can get that premium down by, you're saying you're keeping the excesses the same?
We can look at increasing the excesses, for example. The premiums could be high on a specific section, like the fleet section. We can move it to another insurer who could be offering lower.
Other than that, anything else on my renewals that I need to be concerned about?
There are some sections where you may not be covered. All right, now the first one that I've got is fidelity guarantee. And there's also your property company as well. So the risk of client data being stolen by employees. So this is a cover that will cover such areas of business. Now, the second cover that I can propose to you, sir, is goods in transit cover, truck overturns. So even though that company does have insurance, but now the liability is on you.
Are you saying that the goods in transit cover will respond if we get sued by a client? So
Right.
let's just say in your example there was driver error.
That particular section of cover would respond to that, so yes.
This is a loss that we have, but this is the industry standard.
Good way to give an example.
So already you can see in your head that, okay, this is in good shape.
She said the fidelity guarantee covers data stolen by employees, and I don't believe that policy does cover that.
Thank you as Aon South Africa for choosing us as a preferred broker. As you know, Mr. Terence, that the insurance industry has been hit by catastrophic events within 2017, which you've seen the Knysna fires that has caused devastating damages, which has caused spikes in premiums, spikes in renewal treaties, etc. We have a couple of risks that are quite an imperative at this point in time in organization. Cybercrime is now the 4th most reported economic crime in the country.
Do you think it's something that's imperative for us as a trucking business?
It is, because you house client information.
Why would somebody hack a trucking company?
They might be looking for information of a third party, which might be a big organization, then effectively become liable because they went through your organization.
Do you think this is our biggest risk?
As Aon South Africa, I think this is a very important risk to look at this point in time. We've seen spikes in your motor claims ratio.
Okay, but they haven't increased the premium for 3 years. Why suddenly this year?
The insurance industry has been hit by catastrophic events. So which is this?
Is there any way you can get that premium down?
Or we can take the exposure and put it on a third party who's going to be giving us telematics services.
Do I have to pay in addition for this? How does it work?
We're not going to charge you for this. We're just offering an advice for you as one of our best clients.
I wasn't really convinced though that was the most important uninsured risk.
Second was the most important. I think we all appreciate that's good in transit. To start with selling me something new before you've told me about my renewal, I think.
Yeah.
Well, as Aon South Africa,
No, I was going to
Yes.
say.
I'm expecting you to.
All the rates are going up because we have these fires everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's not the same argument you can give to the client.
The insurers have come back and they've asked for an increase in premium, which we have not accepted. But what we would like to do is take the predictable claims and cover that ourselves within an insurance aggregate and get the insurer to insure above that aggregate. We are going to save you premium. One is the gross profit
I agree.
Sorry, Cole, I thought our premium was 250 at the moment. You're talking
Yes.
about keeping it unaltered at 300.
Yes, so your current premium is 250,
Right.
and the broker fee is 50,000.
Do you have any closing remarks, Tom?
Goods in transit to cover our customers' goods if we'd like to. We need to cover that. Accidental damage if a truck drives into our building.
Sorry, you're out of time. No one actually asked about the fee.
The fee, yes,
Yeah.
he basically added that in.
Then he needed to speed up his presentation.
But what do you think about the recommendations about the motor aggregate?
Very clever.
Yeah, I thought that was it was innovative. He's like, I mean, that's not an easy thing to come up with. He's got good technical knowledge.
How have you been?
Well, it's been a tough year.
Okay, business still going good?
If we try to keep our heads above water.
The geyser cover has been upped to 20,000.
Okay.
I mean, if we're renting, should we be thinking about geysers? I mean, is that not the landlord's problem? Is
Well-
that really a benefit for us?
Are you renting because you're insuring the buildings?
Yeah, good point. Why are we insuring our tenants, our landlord's building?
One thing that I have, but that I think that is really specific to your need is goods in transit that you don't have at the moment.
But I think a lot of that we pass off to our customers anyway. I mean, they insure their own goods. Is it something that I need?
It depends on the contract, I guess.
Okay.
So it would be good to have a look at the contract between you and the client and make sure then that you are not liable.
The first 5 people that did it, very formal. She took the informal approach, which is interesting. Very different.
I thought she did a good job. I mean, I thought she didn't come up with anything sort of groundbreaking, but
No. Clever idea on the contracting with the goods in transit, though.
yeah,
Let's have a look at your contract,
yeah.
as opposed to getting into a technical debate.
There's just something missing, though. I mean, I don't know what it is.
I've negotiated on your behalf and with your respect to move you onto what's known as our binder. We have great extensions on that policy that you will not find anywhere else. We call that bespoke wording, bespoke policy wording. We also have some nice benefits there. We have no excess if you are willing and with your respect to put tracker in your vehicles and to put CCTV cameras up.
Who pays for all that work, the CCTVs and the trackers and things?
You might have to fork out in the beginning, but in the long run, you're definitely going to see the reduction there in premium. Cheapest premium, no excess, base limits, base policy wording.
Sam, is there no merit in us, developing a relationship with our insurer? I mean, to switch now.
All the other insurers came in at an increase of 12%. SHA came in at an increase of only 10%.
These guys are so damn cheap.
Do I need to be worried?
You need to be very worried. I don't want to leave this meeting unless we can finalize at least one of these, and this is the one that brings big red flags to my mind. You do not have any cover for goods in transit.
So we've run out of time. Do you have any concluding remarks?
I need you to sign the goods in transit policy for me to leave comfortably today.
Phew. Some hard selling there. I don't think she properly explained what the benefits were to moving on to the binder.
Binder's 10. Now the question is 2% enough to move?
Yeah, and start a relationship all over again.
She rattled off a lot of information in a very short space of time. I think that was partly the problem here.
Your risk management practices in-house, we need to make sure that we need to look at what is causing the escalation in all these claims that have occurred. Obviously, you've known each other for a while and we've been doing business for a while, but I need to place this on the record. We're not advocating for a 10% increase that is motivated by the selfish need to increase our commission. That last claim that we had in 2017, when our insurers were giving us uphill and we stepped up and we offered to pay that out of our own pockets while we fought it behind the scenes. So if that doesn't show your commitment,
Well, let's get those alternatives. Let's think about what that looks like, and then I can make an informed decision.
I don't want to keep you too long. Okay, like I said, I was reviewing everything and I noticed that I don't think we have the cover that we should have.
Okay, such as?
In totality, goods that you transport are uncovered.
So I'd just like to better understand why I should think about it.
But the thing is, it's a regulation that has been passed. It's a transport regulation that says either the cargo owner or the holder of the goods, the transport contractor, needs to show evidence of having insurance against any incidents that may occur.
Yeah, good energy. I liked the way she addressed the relationship issue with the insurer. She brought in the legislative issue, the regulations. I have no idea.
No.
But she's our broker, so we have to believe her.
I've got it. Well, she ran out of time because she also went back to by the way, we've been together for a long time, and then she lost time, and she didn't actually get into the meat.
You really got thrown straight in at the deep end. So I'd just like to thank Terence and Aon for sponsoring today's task.
Time is a big thing. Use it wisely.
When you have 5 minutes, you really balance the introductions and how's it and a small talk with really the meat of the discussion about what the client really wants. I also felt that at some times you meander, so you start a point and then move to another point and then come back. So presentation-wise, I think you all did well. Some of you do speak very quickly, so just think about the tone and whether it's aggressive for the client or not.
We decided that we weren't going to fire anybody today. So had this been one of those tasks, someone would have definitely been going home. There's a 10,000 Rand prize for the person that we felt was the best negotiator, the person who was really the best broker today, who did this quite difficult task of selling an increase to a client in quite tough economic times. Knox, Kutlwano, and Carl. The three of you all did excellent presentations. But there can, of course, only be one winner of this prize. And the winner today is Carl. Well done, Carl.
Winning the first task of the Insurance Apprentice has given me a nice boost in confidence and will help me going through into task 2 tomorrow. I'll probably use the 10,000 Rand winnings to extend my visit to London.
Get a good night's rest. And we'll see you all for task 2. And all of you might not be here the day after that. You're dismissed.